Happy Tuesday. After Jesus finished his cleansing work in the temple on Monday evening, he left Jerusalem to stay the night in Bethany. The next morning, as he was returning to the city, he became hungry. In those days, there were no quick drive-thrus or Waffle Houses or Mickey D's to grab a quick bite. A person ate whatever they could find. And an easy breakfast was picking the low-hanging fruit from the fig trees in the area. When in season, fig trees would be covered with heavy, juicy figs that were sweet and ready to satisfy whoever ate them. And yet, when Jesus approaches one particular fig tree, he finds nothing on it, but only leaves. As I'm sure you'll agree, a fig tree to a hungry traveler would be quite disappointing, which is why Jesus cursed it and the fig tree withered. At an initial glance, this story may seem like nothing more than Jesus' angry rant at a poor, innocent fruit tree. However, there is more going on than can be seen from a surface reading. It helps to know that in ancient Judea, the fig tree often symbolized Israel and its temple. Originally, the symbolism was meant to depict Israel as a fruit-laden tree in the wilderness. And yet, Israel, as Jesus found it, was spiritually barren. The hungry Jesus walking up to find a fruitless fig tree was tantamount to the Lord of Israel visiting his people and finding only religious leaves and no faith. Their beautiful leaves, all their external religiosity, meant nothing without the fruit of repentance. When read in this light, the withering fig tree serves as a symbol of what will happen to things that do not bear the fruit that God desires. Jesus warns that even something as sacred as the temple itself will not be spared if it becomes a fruitless idol. The theory that the temple, and Jerusalem by extension, were untouchable is false. In Jeremiah 7, for example, Yahweh warned Israel not to place their security in Jerusalem or in the temple, thinking that God would not allow his house to be destroyed. He tells his people to go to Shiloh, one of the first places he allowed Israel to build a temple for his name. And he warns that just as he allowed his temple in Shiloh to be destroyed because of Israel's infidelity, so also he would allow Jerusalem to be destroyed for its idolatry. In cursing the fig tree, Jesus is making the very same point. Fruitless fig trees will wither, and spiritually barren Jerusalem will be judged, which is what happened less than a century later when the Romans sacked Jerusalem and destroyed the temple. What does Jesus' symbolic cursing of the fig tree have to do with us in the 21st century? The Temple of Jerusalem, which still lies in ruins, by the way, serves as a perpetual warning of what happens to fruitless religiosity. Having all the external appearances of a relationship with God does nothing if it does not lead to a fruitful relationship with the Lord. Green leaves and thick bark do not make a tree healthy and fruitful. Neither does being religious, attending church, or hanging out with other Christians make us fruit-bearing followers of Jesus. After cursing the fig tree, Jesus spends most of the day in the temple confronting Jerusalem's religious leaders. When he leaves the temple for the last time as a free man, he warns that soon there would not be a single stone in the temple standing upon another. All of this tension is leading to a breaking point. The Pharisees and the scribes will not tolerate Jesus any longer. As the day comes to an end on Tuesday, Jesus tells his disciples, "You know that after 2 days the Passover is coming, and the Son of Man will be delivered up and be crucified." On this side of the cross, we know that his death was not wasted. Instead, his death was like a seed that fell, died, was buried, and then rose again to bear fruit. Through Jesus' death and resurrection, fruitless fig trees like us would bear much fruit for our God.